Hey, welcome back to the Royal Word. Today we got another guest in the building, little bro, the big investor. So, Justin, tell me a little bit about yourself.
I am I'm a real estate investor. I currently work in the financial industry. I'm a husband. I'm a father. You know, best friends to a couple, and I like to consider myself an educated black man. So that's how I would describe myself.
That's what's up. So, the question of the day is, I know we have a lot of views the same, go the same. We have a lot of the same thought processes. We feel the same way about a lot of stuff. But one of the big things that I see in our community, especially the black community, is that we always tend to side with Democrat or we vote Democrat. Do you agree with that, or do you see that as an issue with it? Because I know I do.
Yes, I do see it as an I do think that that is typically the way African Americans have historically voted, right? When you have the current president of the United States comes out and says, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. If that doesn't tell you all that you need to know right there, that he just pretty much that Democrats have for years and years and years have just shooed in our vote, right? They're like, all right, we can check the African American population off between what would you say, like 18 to 35? Like
Yeah,
we're gonna check them as off, have them in the bag, and then we're gonna kind of run our race with that and such. Like I don't even think at this point they have done anything to earn our votes, right? And I think that's partially what Trump said back when he was president of what do we have to lose? And it sounded like a kind of smart aleck response, but that was kind of the truth. What do we have to lose? Because we still, you know what I mean? A lot of a lot of African Americans are still in poverty. We're still being locked up at an exponential rate to other races, right? We still are our women are some of the most educated people in the U.S., but our men aren't, right? So it's like, and I think that's all based upon some of the crime laws that some of these past senators and Biden even had a little say on that. Kamala locking up the young black men. So I just think in general, we aren't as educated on policies as we should be. And I think sometimes we tend as I'm not going to give everybody, but I'd say sometimes we tend to vote with our hearts rather than our heads. Like who's saying the nice stuff, who wants to continue to increase government benefits, right? Like they kind of saying key words that, kind of stimulate our minds a little bit.
yeah. I mean, I exactly like. I feel it goes deeper than just the presidency as well. It's like it goes all the way down to our state and local governments on those platforms. I really feel that people don't read to how these politicians will vote on certain things and the things that are coming up and which way these politicians feel about these certain things. I mean, like if you have a view on taxes or you have a view on gun control, if you have a view on education or public assistance, it's like you need to really dive deep into what these politicians views on these topics and always say vote within your own interest. It doesn't have to be Democratic, Republican, Independent. It's like find the people that support the most issues on your view. I
Hmm.
feel, you know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah,
if it is a Republican, like don't cut all Republicans out. I mean, you know what I'm saying? In my opinion, because they may be supporting your interests more than your, one Democrat or even independent. Like some of those independents toe those lines very well, So I mean, like I say, the independent party doesn't get enough votes, but they may support your interests more. And like I always say, the key is to vote, get out there and support your opinion, but it's to really dive deep and to find out who supports your opinion. Just don't be like, oh, it's a Democrat, go vote for him. It's like, do you even know
yeah,
what the Democrats stand for? Like,
yeah.
it needs
Don't
to.
Yeah, for sure. Like, don't just vote for by DNR. Like, I know growing up personally, I didn't know what their name was. I didn't even know what a picture of them people looked like. If it said D on the ballot, I said check, check. and I turned it in, right? And I just think that we could even take it a step further back to what you're saying about the state and local. How many African Americans actually vote in those Senate races, in those, like, what do you call it, your city council, you know what I mean? Like, how many of us actually vote in the non-big elections, right? Like those ones that are like vote for your district. Like, how many of us actually vote in those? Because I know I personally don't do a good job of voting in those, right? I'm like, whatever, like, I don't really know those people. They ain't saying nothing that I want to hear, or I'm not going out to seek the information, right? And then I feel like a lot of times our minds get swayed by what we see on TV, right? And TV is the last place that you should be trying to form an opinion, right? Because again, they have people at the top who give the people at the bottom the stuff that they want to be mainstream. So how do you know, if you're not forming an opinion based upon that one person that owns CNN, or that one person that owns Fox wants you to think, right? Rather than you doing a little digging yourself.
Yeah, it is crazy because like this the state and local government, like you're talking about affecting you personally, those government bodies are going to affect you more
Yeah.
and quickly. Like you're talking about state laws versus a federal law. Like a state law can get passed almost every month. So you
Hmm.
have to keep your eye on those. So like those elections affect people, I think, a lot more than the actual federal laws would, or the
Yeah.
time that it takes to implement a tax raise or a tax deduction, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah. No,
it,
I agree.
there's a lot goes in that voting thing. But like I said, I think that the idea is just to get the information out there and vote on your own opinion. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about who your mom and dad always voting for. Develop your own opinion. You know, do
Yeah.
your own research. Like you said, the media is going to try to persuade you one way or another because they have their own agenda. They have
Mhm.
pockets too. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So is there any other topics that you want to cover?
Yeah, actually one that again, you and I talk about often, but we talk about marriage, right? And we talk about, is marriage for everyone, kind of how we look at it. Is it a business, right? And so my question to you is to throw it back on you, even though you the host. Do you look at marriage as a business, like as a business relationship? And or would you say that love is enough? Right. So those are my two questions for you.
Okay. So all right. So I guess we have to get into this marriage thing because my view on marriage
Yeah,
is probably
I do.
totally different than the average, right?
Yes.
So let me say my view first. One, marriage is different for me. It's like you're right. Love should be enough when it comes to that. But I strongly feel before you get married, you should have that same love as a fiance or as a girlfriend or wherever those stages are before you say I do. It's like that
Mhm.
I do should not change your feelings or your willingness to do stuff, for that person or other person or anything like that. But for the state, I feel it is a business because once you say I do, half your stuff is theirs, unless there's like some sort of premarital agreement in place. Like it becomes like your taxes are now combined. It becomes a business. Now, for the spiritual people out there, it's like I do believe marriage is a oath under God, which you do need to respect and cherish because if you believe in that, like that is your oath, and that's why I believe marriage should really come to play. Because, like you said, you're going in front of your friends and family, and you're swearing an oath to the person you believe in, like the Lord, your Lord and Savior. So when it comes to that, yes. So like the state version, like that marriage certificate business, uh, the spiritual aspect, your commitment and your cherishment, all that should come before I say I do. Like before you say I do, and after you say I do, there literally should be no change in the way you feel about. And me personally, like I believe if you think marriage is going to change something, you're wrong. You know, because you need to have that established before you say I do. If not, you're not marrying the right person.
Yeah. So with that being in mind, when you come into any type of relationship and you're seeking to go to that next level, are you automatically starting off at a business mindset of like, okay, this woman that I'm meeting, right? These are the interests that I have. These are the businesses that I'm running. These are the foundations of me when it comes to expanding my legacy, right? So when you go to look for a partner, are you looking for a spiritual, love, or business partner? Which one of those three would you say, like if you had to put them in order, one, two, three, spiritual, love, business, what would your mindset be when going into a marriage or any type of relationship that you're hoping leads towards a marriage?
Well, I think personally, I think you need all three because, like, first you need the love. Like, if you don't have love for a person, things never gonna be right. Like, you're not gonna
Yeah.
care about them. You're not gonna be able to do business with them if you truly don't love them because y'all gonna be at odds. You know what I'm saying? And then
Yeah.
yes, I do believe because in today's society and where I want to be personally, it takes two. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's hard to sit there and take care of another grown person when they're bringing nothing to the table, in my
Mhm.
opinion. So you
Okay.
have to have some, like what they call it, equally yoked. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So you got to have
Yeah.
some of that same mindset to grow. You know, if that's what you want to do. Now, like some
Okay.
people are perfectly content, you know, sitting back and being, I'm not, I want to say call it mediocre, but you can live a great lifestyle off of one income, you know, or even if you have a small income, but you know, not willing to invest and do different things like that, or even if you don't have the same interests, even if you
Yeah.
have love for each other, if y'all don't have some of the same interests or understanding, things can get real shaky. You know what I'm saying? Because like if
Mhm.
you really love cars, right, and you go out and buy $100,000 Corvette and you bring that joker home, and your
Right.
wife just doesn't see the love in that car or have the understanding,
Yeah.
good luck with that. Like you have
For
mini
sure.
Max on the couch, like it ain't never gonna be right. Like
Yeah.
that passion and love that you have for one thing may trump, you know. So I think it has to be a lot of understanding, a lot of communication.
Okay. Okay. All right. And so to follow up that one, right? Do you think that, like, as far as the American house, right, where mostly it's two women, and I mean not two women, it's a man and a woman in the household. They both are working, they both are paying bills, they both split the duties 50-50, right? Again, people try to say things 50-50. I feel like rarely in anything is anything 50-50, right? Um, do you personally prefer the, I want to say, going back to our heritage, do you prefer the African slash the Hispanic culture of you want to personally be the breadwinner and have a stay-at-home mom, have a nurturer, have a cooking, cleaning type of wife? Or would you personally prefer in your marriage to have a 50-50 where you both cook, you both clean, you both take care of the children, you both are somewhat the breadwinner? Like, what would you prefer?
Me personally, I know to well, me personally, okay, I know to get where I want to be, is no such thing as a stay-at-home wife, in my opinion. It just
Okay.
can't happen. Like, you
Okay.
know, based off my income in my situation now, it just where we need to take this, no,
Yeah.
it can't happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I take care of my home now, so I don't mind cooking, cleaning. Like I do all that stuff for me now. It's like,
Yeah.
would it be great to have somebody to help out with that? Yeah, sure. But you know what I'm saying? I do it now. So I can't
Yeah.
say, oh, it's gonna be, you know, I need that. No, I take care of it now. Like I pay my own bills. Like I live good now. So
Yeah.
what that person will need to do is just help us live better. You know what I'm
To
saying?
enhance the lifestyle, let alone to maintain it.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. And so do you think that in this, I guess this is just based upon your opinion, right? Like in kind of the wife that you want. Do you think that as a society we have gone away from the traditional marriage where like the identity, like the gender roles, right, where it's the mom stays at home, does the cooking and cleaning, and the man goes out and works a job? Do you feel like we have moved away from that, right? That's my one. And do you think that there's still a portion of men out there, actually, let's go the high value men, right? Elon Musk, his wife probably ain't working for real, for real. She probably running, again, I may be wrong, but she probably running, maybe running some charities and stuff like that. But like a lot of the high value men that I've seen, like the making the big dog money, right? Like I don't feel like their wife may be as in tune in the business as far as like knowing the day to day, rather than more so like taking care of the children, which is a very hard and it's a thankless job for the most part. And I don't really feel like you can truly put a dollar amount on a woman or anyone raising your family, to the ideals that you maintain.
No, I agree with you. And I like once again, I agree. It takes both parents to raise good children. Like you
Yeah.
need a mother and a father. Like people who have been really successful and have been great parts of the society with one parent. But it truly takes two. Because it's just some things can't be done on either side. Like in my opinion. So I do think it takes two, like, to raise the kids. Like it just can't. To me, it just can't. I can't see no other way because there's some things you're not going to get from the other side.
Yeah.
But when I say it comes like to the high values, like if you are well off, successful, you're in that top 5% where you're millions and billions. Is like your wife doesn't have to work. You're right. Your wife doesn't have to work. You have enough money. You're probably not technically at work that much yourself. You have people making those decisions for you. But I believe in those high value societies that the woman still plays a big role. Like you said, they may be involved with charity. You know what I'm saying? So that's still something off your plate that you don't have to do when she handles all the charity events, or you know what I'm saying? She may handle your in-home stuff. Like, yes, but it's still bringing some sort of value to your life. Like I don't like. There's never been a great man without a great woman. Like it just never has happened. Like I said, they don't have to go to work, but they do something. You know what I'm saying? I feel they need to go to work because my job personally doesn't provide where I needed to provide for them not to go to work. Now, if I was making $500,000 a year, yes, you may not have to work, but you still will. Well, let's take this $100,000 and invest in the charity. You can take the, you know what I'm saying? Let's do that. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or if you want to do a YouTube channel, or if you want to do something else, great. Let's start that. Give us a write-off. Like, you know what I'm saying? It may not be a 9 to 5. But
no, and again, I agree with that's why. Again, to me, I think that both sides of the coin work well, right? Like me personally, I don't think that I would like. I want to make enough eventually that my wife doesn't have to go and work for somebody else, right? Like I want her to work for her last name, and I want her to work for our last name, right? Where everything that we doing is for the, again, of course, for the benefit of other people, but the money that we're working is kind of flowing inside of our household, right? And personally, how I don't want to say how I run the house, but I'm not a dictator. Like, it's a 50-50, but the money that I make goes to pay the bills, goes to kind of maybe do a little shopping, this and that, right? And my wife's money is used for investing, right? So like that's how we're able to purchase property. That's how we're able to do stocks and bonds and stuff like that. So that's why I definitely agree with what we were discussing earlier, right? Where I felt like I definitely needed a partner who understood the trajectory that I wanted to go, right? Like there's gonna be some days where we broke as all get out, right? Because we just trying to buy assets, right? And then there's other days where we're gonna be, we're gonna be living it up, sipping the pina coladas, right? Because we put in all this, all this work, right? So that's why I think it's super important to understand when you're going into any type of relationship or any type of partnership, any type that both of you all, like both you and the wife or you and the husband, whatever, whatever spouse you choose to go with, what the path is, right? Because if Heather didn't personally want to go the real estate path and want to do, she could say, no, I'm not having our money going to the same account. I'm gonna use my bread to buy what I want. I'll give you whatever portion you deem is necessary to pay the rent and the bills, and the rest of that I'm keeping. You can figure it out from there, right? And there'd be nothing I could do about it, right? So that's why I think it's so extremely important to have somebody that, kind of understands the path that you're trying to go. Like, does Heather want to be painting houses, laying foundation down, ripping up subfloor? No, she don't. But she want the check to come in after, after all that stuff is done, right? And so, again, I think it's important to have somebody. They don't have to be as passionate about cars or, or fixing stuff up as you are. But I need you to at least be supportive and kind of understand the vision. And because, again, like you said, every great man has had a great woman. I always use the analogy, how many presidents of the United States haven't had wives, right? It's only been like 2 or 3, right? So out of the what are we at? 44, 45 presidents? One of them.
46,
maybe 46, 46. Yeah, we're at 46 presidents. Now the 46, 43 of them have had wives. So kind of that lets you kind of know like where women or where partners, are at on this pedestal of where we can go as far as our trajectory. Because I know for sure the man I am today is strongly influenced by the wife that I have. Right. So
yeah. So one last thing, just 'cause you said it, I personally don't believe in joint accounts. Only there's one main reason why.
okay.
Because when it comes to birthdays, Christmas, and stuff like that, I do not want somebody to buy me a gift with my own money.
Okay.
That's
I was
the biggest reason.
yeah. I would say this like my wife takes a portion every month and puts it into her own, like she has like her own makeup account where she buys her stuff, and that's where she buys my birthday presents and stuff from. I don't have a separate account. Could I for the sake of it? But it's one of those things that the moment that you've put a penny in there together and you disperse it, it's joint, right? Like, because you can't decipher which penny, which dollar wasn't touched before, right? But I do agree with, yeah, I do like the concept of having one main account where all your bills and all that stuff comes from, and then having sub accounts off of that where it's like, oh, okay, this is Justin's personal, this is Heather's personal, and you kind of work like that. So yeah, I'm not mad at that because
Yeah.
sometimes it does feel like you buying your own gift, right? Well, like I hear you on that, but yeah,
Yeah.
I hear you on that.
Like I said, I'm in agreement with that. Having like a household account, but keeping your own accounts as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because me, I'm a hawk too, so I'm like, oh, what was going on with blah blah blah, right? Because I gotta make sure we ain't getting hacked and nothing like that. She's like, bro, chill out. But so yeah, she probably would like it a little bit more, right? Because I can't see what's going on in the other account. I'm like, oh, hold on, how much you got in there? Enough. So I gotta leave that alone.
Yeah. But anyway, so we'll definitely have more discussions to come. But before we get up out here, we hit you with these 5 hitter quick questions, right?
All right.
So one of the staples of this channel is guns. One of the
Okay.
staples.
One. Okay.
So what are your views on gun control?
I think that again, since we talk all the time, I feel like I don't want it to be a slippery slope where the government starts telling people what kind of guns they can and cannot have, right? But my view on guns is you should have whatever guns, however many guns you deem necessary to protect yourself, right? But I do think that there needs to be a more of a resistance on when you're first getting a gun. Like for example, an 18-year-old, when they turn 18, they're excited about getting a gun. My thing is, I personally feel like you need to have 3 references, right? Before you buy a gun, right? And then you also need to wait 6 months. And I feel like also your social media needs to be reviewed, right? And so within that 6 months time frame, they need to check and make sure your social media ain't going crazy. I think you need to have 3 references, and that means if you're still in high school, you need to have at least one of your teachers, at least one guidance counselor. If you work a job, maybe a manager or a coworker, right? And I think that would personally, because now you have to go through all of these steps to make sure you've been hiding your crazy from all of these people, right? And so I feel like one of these people is gonna step up, like, nah, TJ was on something. I saw him. He kept drawing these people with their head blown off. I saw him. He didn't think I saw him, but I saw him, and I feel like that personally would, eliminate some of the recent chaos that is going on. And I'm a firm believer that guns don't get up and shoot people. People shoot people. But I feel like you definitely need to put some type of an additional barrier so this stuff doesn't keep happening.
Understood. All right, next one. Another pillar of the channel now. Cars and automobiles, right? If you had a 5-car garage, what would you fill it with?
The Cheyenne Porsche. I wouldn't, between 2017 and 2021 is fine with me. The 718 Boxster S Turbo. That's another Porsche. I need me one of them. I will honestly, I think I want like one of those big like F-150 trucks, like the ones like the country boys be having, like with the big tires and all that. Just because I saw one time when I was working in Harrisonburg, and I was just like, that's nice. Like I like that. I'd also like a Jeep Wrangler, one that don't have I don't want no doors on it. I want one like that. And then my fifth one, I'd probably want like a Ferrari, a all black, blacked out rims, blacked out tires, Ferrari.
Yeah, that black. Can't beat that black, right? All right. Next one. If you could have 5 dinner guests, dead or alive, who would they be?
The first one would be my grandpa. That was my dog. The second one would be Kobe, because I just want to just really tap into kind of to his mindset and just kind of to see like if he thought at the end of the day, after all the work he put in, knowing kind of what is the end result was going to be, would he have still put it in, right? Like, because me personally, I feel like I want to work so hard, and I don't really care when I'm going, when I'm going to go, but I just want to make sure the work that I put in, I just want to make sure that he didn't feel like he missed out on anything along the way. Martin Luther King, I'd like to talk to him because he always preached this, you know what I mean? Like violence isn't the key, but I want to know if he really has some violence in his heart. Like I want to see if a little bit of that was a front. I'd like to have dinner with Obama, right? Because I want to see if I just kind of want to see what his journey was, and even being an African American, you can't always please everybody, right? And so being at the top of the food chain, I would just be very interested to see like if he ever felt like he had to sell his soul in order to kind of get some things, you know what I mean, to appease everybody. And then I'd say the fifth one, I would say somebody like Grant Cardone, right? Because that's what I want to do. And so I would like to sit down and talk to him and just kind of like really pick his brain and understand like how he goes and attacks certain ventures and stuff like that.
Word. Our answers are similar. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Not the same people, but just kind of the same, along the same lines.
Yeah.
All right. Another pillar, well, I wouldn't say not too much of a pillar of this channel, but something that we're both passionate about, sports, right?
Yep.
Who are your top 5 athletes across all sports? Like, if you had to do a Mount Rushmore of sports, you know what I'm saying? Not saying they're the best, but the people you, like I say, appreciate the most.
Of course, I'm gonna go with my man Kobe, right? Because I just feel like that mindset is just one of a kind. Also, as far as I'm gonna go LeBron, even though I'm a LeBron hater, I think that for someone to have so much spotlight shine on them so early, and it's never been in the spotlight for anything domestic violence, never been anything financial, never been anything as far as like criminal, like just like to have all that pressure and then never really mess up, and then giving all that money at 18 and still becoming a billionaire, like you gotta give him some props. I think probably one of the most underrated athletic people of all time is probably Bo Jackson, right? For somebody to play both sports and just be that much of a beast. You said was 2 more athletes, right?
Yeah.
I would say who else? As far as, let me see other sports. So baseball, football. I would say what's the boy name? God, I was just the pretty boy soccer player. Not Messi, the other dude. God, I can't.
Not
what
that.
the heck?
No,
he's like
old.
It's like
not Lionel Messi.
I can't even think of the boy's name right now.
Ronaldo?
Yes, Ronaldo. I just want to know, like, as far to be able to run all that time, to be that athletic, like soccer's more physical than people want to give him credit for. And then I would say Serena Williams, because I don't think a lot of women I don't think she get enough credit, because what a powerful woman, right? So her, those are my five.
Word. All right, last question. And like I said, now this is a true staple of this, because I'm all about community and building, giving back and doing that. Like, it's a big part of why I started the Royal Family. So
Yeah,
if you could do one thing for your community, and it doesn't matter the funding, it doesn't matter anything, just one thing you could think about, one thing you could do to give back, like I say, no matter how many grants, like funding does not matter, what would it be?
I would like to give back to single moms as far as real estate, right? I think Warren Dunn did it, and it was like many, many years ago, and I feel like single mothers are the pillar of our society, right? Because so many of the African American kids that you see that become professional players and stuff like that, like they came from like a single mother household, right? And so I figured the thing that I would like to give to people that isn't really, I feel like, is underappreciated, is a place to lay your head down at night, right? And I feel like if you can come home to at least a stable foundation of knowing where you're going to sleep, you're able to dream and accomplish anything you want to off that.
Word. One day you're gonna make that happen.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Anyway, y'all tap in with us. Shout out to little bro for joining us today. Like, follow, subscribe, follow the IG for more insight. Go check out the site for some merch. Like I said, Justin, you always welcome back. Just let me know if you all got something you want to talk about. We'll set it up. Anyway, we out.
Hey, once again, I totally forgot, but y'all need to go check out our other podcasts. Justin, Dr. J, Danny Ocean, we all do the Who's Up podcast. Y'all need to go check that out. And once again, big shout out to little bro for coming by and sitting down talking with us. Yo, y'all see much more, little bro. Thank you again. We out.
Hey everybody, who's selling? We're buying.